Good afternoon and welcome to the Cannabis World Congress and Business Expo live stream, where we bring you the latest and greatest for everything going on in the industry every week at 4 p.m. and have you on your way by 4:20. I'm Gretchen Gailey, the Chief Strategy Officer for CWCBExpo. And today we were hoping to have with us someone from the Office of Cannabis Management, but they are taking care of the people of New York and working on those emergency regs. So I lost John Kagia, the director of policy, who is my ex-office husband, so I might forgive him. We shall see. However, instead, we have with us the lovely, the talented, the incomparable Christine Ianuzzi, the CEO of the CWCB Expo. We are so thrilled to have you with us. How are you doing today, Christine?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
I'm very happy to be with you, Gretchen. And we know John has a lot on his plate with the latest regs being issued, and that we'll get him another time, and he certainly will be at the expo.
He
So
will be, yes, along with many others from the OCM.
that's
So,
right.
how about we give folks a rundown of what to expect in the next few weeks?
Why don't we do that?
All right.
So and the run up to the show, we're doing a huge amount of outreach to the community. We're doing outreach in marketing. We are working with our speakers who are all lined up on the panels and our co-hosts. Why don't we tell the audience who the co-hosts are, including yourself? You're like
Sure.
the host, but then there are three co-hosts that we have that
Yeah.
we're thrilled to have, and they're actually very well known in the industry. Why don't you say who they are?
Yes, I'm very excited. We will have with us Kristen Jordan. We will also have with us Tanya Osborne of Women Grow, and then also Barrington Rutherford,
That's
uh,
it.
who who has been working alongside of Kristen, but also working, I believe, in Puff Daddy's organization, helping him get his cannabis sector up and running. So
That's
we
right.
are very excited to have them with us.
That's right. And Barrington Rutherford, his expertise actually is in real estate, and that's why he's chairman of the board for Park Jordan. And Kristen Jordan founded Park Jordan. She's an attorney. She's very well known in the industry as well. The two of them are co-hosting alongside of you. And Tanya Osborne, who's a founder and CEO of Canadiva, and also she is one of the directors for New York and Women Grow. And she has been very helpful to us, Gretchen, as you know, in building our CWCB Expo Women's Pavilion. She has helped gather the female entrepreneurs that are, some of them are beta ready with a product in cannabis, some are not, some are litmus testing a product, many are already established. Some of them who were in our show in 2022 in June. We featured the Women Grow Pavilion back then, and some of them are returning entrepreneurs who actually have product in some of the retail markets here in New York. They have, there's I think 3 or 5 of them that actually made products that made it to shelf space, and so we're very proud of that we've helped. But Tanya Osborne has been so helpful, and Gia Marone from Women Grow has been so helpful to us in getting female entrepreneurs in that women pavilion. And
How many are we expecting in the women's pavilion this year?
well, over 20 at this point, I believe, about 20, 25. And they're scholarship. We have several sponsors that we're very happy about. We have the lead anchor sponsor, Cone Resnick. We're very happy about that. Thank you, Cone Resnick. We have supporting sponsors. We have Charles Smith from Mass Canna, and we also have David Feldman from Skip Intro Advisors. We have Jenny Argy, I believe, is another supporting sponsor. Jenny Tombe Goods. We have a few others as well. Crow. We have Cone Resnick. I think Crow is another one. And we have, I will tell you the other one, because they're also Women Grow. They are an anchor sponsor as well. But the lead anchor sponsor is Cone Resnick. One of the things about the Women's Pavilion this year, it's larger. each female entrepreneur has a 10 by 10 booth of their own. Last time when we did this, it was tables, and they've really shown there was a very big call for this, and we saw that women are a big factor in this industry and always have been, but we need to highlight them, and we are making them highlighted as exhibitors with their own 10 by 10. And
and I think last year one of my favorite parts of the show was the energy and the excitement that you were feeling coming out of the Women's Grow Pavilion. I think
absolutely, it was well traveled.
The female entrepreneurs are amazing. The energy they have back there.
The energy, the enthusiasm, the interest, and what's going to be different this time around in our show. We're featuring Canavest East. Scott Brody produces the Canavest East Conference. And it is a capital institutional forum, which will have family offices present. It will have portfolio managers. That programming takes place on Thursday and Friday. And what's good about this is we're going to have the financial community abounding in the show. And when we have these sectors that are emerging in the industry, and we highlight them at the show, like the Women's Pavilion, like female entrepreneurs, this is really a meeting of the community. It's a meeting of the minds, and it's putting people together as we should, and trying to build the marketplace, which is what we do as a trade show. And that's what our brand has always done. But we have a lot of other exciting things too, and you've helped build those features. Why don't you talk about the Project Translate that you have helped?
Sure.
And that our lovely partner, as always, from day one, Roz McCarthy and Minorities for Medical Marijuana. Why don't you bring up this feature that's going to happen?
So this year, and this is, I think, the first time that I've seen this done at a cannabis conference, is we are going to offer an expungement clinic for those who are looking to help clean up their records and try and get things on the up and up for when they're applying for their licenses and trying to get involved in the industry and get jobs. Often that is quite a barrier to entry for a lot of folks. And so Minorities for Medical Marijuana, they have been doing these expungement clinics around the country. And I was speaking with them recently. We were trying to get some folks signed up down in DC just at another event. And they do a number of programs. I would say there's almost a dozen programs that Minorities for Medical Marijuana takes on. But the number one program that people kept coming to our table and signing up for was for expungement advice. And so with how New York is trying to get up and running, it just seemed perfectly fitting that this is exactly what New York State needed. We want to bring an expungement clinic there so people don't have the barriers to entry that they've been seeing in other places. And CWCBE, from the leadership that you've put forward, is just so much about New York and the community and what it means to cannabis. And you can only grow that community if we are inclusive of everyone in the industry. And it takes a lot of folks to put this on. And so I know that Minorities for Medical Marijuana is working extremely hard. If you are an attorney in the New York area and you are looking to do a little pro bono work or help out with this type of effort, I know you can contact Minorities for Medical Marijuana and they would welcome your expertise. I think this is going to be a fun and exciting time for a lot of folks in New York. We have a number of other things that are going to be featured in the show. We have our Growers Field. Maybe you want to talk about that a bit more, Christine. I know that you've been working very closely trying to get a number of the cultivators from upstate to come on down to the city and talk about what they've been doing.
Yes, we've been working very hard in trying to help that sector of the supply chain. They are the growers in New York State, and I think growers in general across the U.S. Have been having, I think, a very difficult time, especially here in New York. But we're trying to help in our way in putting our show front and center for them. We've included growers from New York who, right now is the grow season. It's very difficult to get growers to leave their farms to come and exhibit. It's really not something that they would do. But when we've had a lot of conversations with them, working very closely with groups, farm groups. And one of them is actually Nicole Ricci, who we're working with, a small farmer. And she's actually brought in a number of growers. And we will have growers field. And what we're trying to do, Gretchen, as you know, is build up that sector and get them noticed and highlight the hard work that they do and highlight some of the challenges that are out there. They're not insurmountable. They will be taken care of as far as the challenges. But we need to bring them into the fold and highlight them in an arena such as ours so that they get heard, that they are seen. They cannot be away from where we are now building this marketplace. And, this is our 9th year, Gretchen, as you know, and we built this marketplace, not just on the East Coast, but across the United States. And we're going to continue to do that, by the way. But the growers have been a piece of this for us that we've been trying to get into the show. And there's going to be double-digit growers in our show, which is a really great thing. We're very happy to have them. And it's a difficult lift for them to do that. We understand that. But they're working it out. We also have the Veterans Rally Point with Sarah Stenoff. Sarah Stenoff is a grower as well, Ananda Farms. And she is a veteran. And she's created the Veterans Rally Point on the show floor. And in fact, some of the veterans that she's bringing happen to be licensed. Some of them are cultivators, some of them are card holders, and so forth. So there is a representation for all of the sectors that we have here in the industry. We're happy about that. We're proud of that. And we're bringing the community around it, the business community around all of these participants, the Women's Pavilion, the Growers Field, Veterans Rally Point. We have Cannabis NYC coming. We have the OCM coming, and they're exhibiting as well, both of those agencies, and they're bringing agencies with them. So this is a real meeting of the minds. It's a meeting of all of the sectors together in one place, under one roof. That is going to really help encapsulate all of the discussions that need to take place. And as far as it doesn't just happen in the conference room, the discussions happen most excitedly and enthusiastically and debatedly on the show floor with exhibitors, with attendees, and all of these participants.
Well, and just a reminder to our viewers, if you want to get onto that show floor, we have a lovely code that's going across the bottom right now. You can see it. It's my name, actually, today, GGailey23, if you would like a free 3-day show pass. And then it'll also get you 20% off of the conference program. So please click on it, use it often. We would love to see you out there. One thing that you highlighted, you mentioned that the New York folks, the agencies will be there. You did not mention our keynote, who I know you've been very close with, and she has been so much help that we're so excited to have her.
Well, Tashita Dawson is the founding director of Cannabis NYC. She has been the ignition point for making sure that there is representation from New York City to all of the participants who are interested parties that want to help build this industry. She's providing the support, the ultimate support and vision to make sure that that New York City, all of its concerns, the 5 boroughs, the city residents, those who are looking for a license, those who want a license, those who want to build a retail business, that they are supported from an economic standpoint. And her department that she is founding director of, which is Cannabis NYC, comes under the auspices of the Small Business Services, which is under the mayor's office. And there is a huge amount of support for what she is doing. It's a launch pad for making and building the industry in New York City. And she's done a fine job. She is passionate. She is magnetic. She is magical when she is producing a discussion, a conversation, and delivering that. We look so forward to having her on our main stage. She is going to be the opening keynote on Thursday, June 1st, and she's going to be addressing the investors in the room for Cannabis East, Cannabis East and CWCBExpo on Thursday, June 1 at 10:15. And her keynote is open to all registered attendees. Everyone who has a ticket, whether it's an expo or a seminar pass, is able to sit in that room, stand in that room. I think there'll be standing room only while she delivers her keynote. And we look forward to that. She's bringing with her for her whole 3 days several different agencies from the city agencies. And among them will be the Economic Development Corporation. Executives from that whole Economic Development Corporation group will be in that room on Thursday. There will be the Sheriff's Office is going to be present at the show. Of course, the Office of Cannabis Management. You know, Deshita works very closely with them. They really in lockstep, as you know, Gretchen. And if the OCM were on this call with us, they would say the same thing. And she's actually speaking during the programming sections and segments that are happening on Saturday with Axel and with John Kagita. So,
well, we are rapidly approaching 420. But what I would love for you to hit on is the slogan of CWCBExpo, where cannabis means business. We know that so many deals have been done that perhaps people aren't aware of got done at CWCBExpo. Can you give us just a few examples so people can understand what really happens at this show?
Sure. So the Canopy Growth deal, where Constellation Brands actually bought up Canopy Growth, that all happened in our show. Acreage Holdings, when it was purchased by Canopy Growth, that happened at our show. One of the very early stages of Green Roads, which was a Florida-based company, CBD company, he started exhibiting around the time of our show in New York and Boston. He spoke at our show, I think, for the very first time. He was sold during the pandemic, God bless him, many millions, tens of millions of dollars. So lots of deals get done at our show. And that's what happens. We are a show of business. Business, cannabis means business. Business gets done. If you're looking for not just getting into the business or learning, if you're looking to buy something, take your company and sell it, merge, grow, this is the show for you. And you never know what's going to happen on the show floor, as far as business deals. So you don't hear about these. We don't really talk about them. But these, as Gretchen says, they do happen at our show and have happened and will continue to happen.
Well, Christine, thank you so much for jumping in. John has apologized to me several times, repeatedly over text message. But I know duty calls. When the governor calls, you got to answer. So we are hoping to have him back next week to give us a preview of what we're all expecting from the OCM. For those of you still tuned in, please check out that conference code going across the bottom of the screen, GGailey23, to get your free conference pass and 20% off the programming pass. And I want to thank you all for joining us as we continue on our journey to Javits in June. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gretchen.